All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. So, Bellator 254 has come and gone, and the promotion has a new women's flyweight champion in the undefeated Juliana Velasquez, who improved her record to 11-0 last Thursday. So now the question on a lot of people's minds, particularly in the matchmaking department over there at Bellator, is who's next for the new champ? I think personally, I think they have several options and I thought I'd decide to go ahead and share them with you. So let's go ahead and check them out. So first up is someone that a lot of people are calling for in Denise Miss Dynamite Kielholtz. Now Kielholtz currently has a record of 6-2 in MMA, and she is on a 4-fight win streak. She's coming off a first-round knockout win over Kate Jackson at Bellator 247. Now Kielholtz has a world kickboxing pedigree, but she's also, I believe, a black belt in judo. So along with her striking pedigree, she has some underrated submission skills as well. And like the champion, she has very strong hands, but unlike the champion, she delivers them a lot faster. Now, the real con for Kielholtz here is, and some people might dismiss this, but I think it's important to bring up, is her strength of schedule. Yes, she is on a 4-fight win streak. However, she doesn't really have any strong wins in MMA at all. All of her recent wins on that 4-fight win streak were against opponents who were already coming off a loss. So she doesn't have any recent wins over any opponents that were on a win streak. So it kind of, tarnishes that win streak a little bit in that, yes, she does have those 4 straight wins, but against who? Next up is one that I think Bellator is also going to favor, because we'll take this list from most likely to least likely. Liz Carmouche. Liz Carmouche, the former UFC fighter, 2-time title challenger over there, both bantamweight and flyweight. She comes in with a record of 14-7, and she is coming off her successful successful Bellator debut, where she got a 3rd-round submission win over Deanna Bennett. Now, Liz Carmouche is very strong for flyweight. Velasquez is strong, but so is Carmouche. She has very strong wrestling and submission grappling pedigree from over there at 10th Planet, and she's been wrestling for just years and years. Another thing that Bellator could use to push this fight is that she is the friend and teammate training partner of the former champ Ilima-lei McFarlane. So Bellator could basically use that friendship with McFarlane to build up the storyline, because they were originally basically planning to have Carmouche fight her friend in McFarlane for the belt. Well, now that is off the table, at least for the time being, possibly. So they could use the idea of, well, you beat my friend and training partner and teammate, so I'm going to go in there, beat you, and get revenge for that. Now, the big con when it comes to Liz Carmouche is that she's just boring. I mean, her last fight against Deanna Bennett was her first finish since 2013. Liz just does not, conjure excitement in, honestly, anybody's mind. And let's be honest here. That fight before Bennett, her last fight before that, was her title challenge against Valentina Shevchenko in the UFC. And I don't know anybody that has watched that fight more than once. If anybody watched that fight more than once, my hat's off to you, because you have a lot of patience, or I don't know, maybe you just had insomnia and was hoping that would help put you to sleep. Carmouche just does not garner excitement. I don't know anybody that looks forward to a Carmouche fight. Now, next one is a bit unusual if you're mostly more of the casual fan. Now, if you are a true hardcore fan, you might not be that surprised by her inclusion on this list. That is new Bellator signee, Kana Watanabe. Now, Kana was just fighting most recently for Rizin. She has a record of 9-0-1. She's a Rizin and Deep Jewels veteran. However, her most recent fight was a TKO win over Olara Joani for Bellator when Bellator went to Japan last year in December. So she has fought for them before, even though she just finally actually signed with the promotion. Before, she was a loaner from Rizin. Now, Kana has a strong judo background as well, just like the champ. And just like the new champ Velasquez, she has some surprising power in her hands too. She dropped, her biggest win to date was against Shizuka Sugiyama, and she dropped Shizuka with basically a counter jab. So she has some nice power in her hands in addition to a strong judo game. Now the con with Watanabe is that she's not known to Bellator viewers, so they might want to try to get her one more fight before that. Now, there's still honestly time for that to happen. Because let's be honest here, before she became the champ, Velasquez was not the most active fighter in Bellator anyway. Honestly, there aren't too many fighters in Bellator who can claim to be truly like super active. The current champ and the former champ among them, who only fought once, twice a year anyway. So there's plenty of time for them to possibly get Watanabe another fight before they would try to slot her into a title fight if she wins and does it in an exciting fashion that would garner some excitement for her. Now finally on the list of fighters, and honestly to me this is least likely, and I'll explain why, is the former champion Ilima-lei Macfarlane. Macfarlane is now 11-1 as a pro. She's just coming off the win last week to Velasquez at Bellator 254 via decision. Now, of course, Macfarlane comes in there with a strong submission game. And, you know, if you need a storyline, well, she was the long-running inaugural champ. So Bellator could say, well, let's try to get Ilima-lei back in there. Try to get that back. Because, let's be honest here, she was very, very marketable for Bellator. Now, the cons for Macfarlane are twofold. First off, she's one-dimensional, and honestly, she got exposed against Velasquez. If she can't get the takedown, and you can outstrike her, you have her beat. Second of all, and this is even more importantly, she doesn't seem to want it. If you listen to her post-fight interview, she was relieved not to be the champion anymore. She said like a weight off of her shoulders. So honestly, I don't think she wants to be champion anymore. And if you listen to what she's been saying for the past 1.5 to 2 years, honestly, I think Macfarlane is headed into retirement. She's already been talking about not wanting to fight, I think, past 30. Without looking it up right now, I'm not sure of what her age is, but I just think that between what she's been saying leading up to the fight and immediately after, I don't think Macfarlane is long for the sport. Therefore, that's why I put this as the least likely immediate option for the new champ, Juliana Velasquez. Now, one final thing I would bring up is that there was talk before the title fight last week, and there could still be some talk afterwards of Bellator doing a Flyweight Grand Prix in 2021. You know Scott Coker, he likes his tournaments, he likes his Grand Prix. And you know what? Tournaments, they do create some good storylines, they create some good fights. And I might be alone on this one, but honestly, I'm just not interested in this. For one thing, I just listed off 4 possible immediate title challengers, with any of the other 3 being possibly next in line. So it's not like you need this tournament in order to create title challengers. You have, your division is finally growing, it's finally gaining some strength. You don't need the tournament to build this division up further. And also, let's be honest here. Bellator drags out their tournaments way too long. I mean, if we were talking the Bjorn Rebney era Bellator tournaments where the fighters would fight like once a month or once every 2 months, and the tournament was over within like literally 1 season to a half a year, I'd have no problem with this. But you don't get that under Scott Coker. Under Scott Coker Bellator, you get, well, here's one quarterfinal fight this month. Then next month we'll have 2 more quarterfinals. And then the month after that, or maybe 2 months after that, we'll have, the final quarterfinal fight. So then by then you have a half a year and you've only completed 1 round of the tournament. And then you're going to drag out the semifinals and then drag out the finals as well. Honestly, it just kills the hype you build up around a tournament when you drag it out. I'm just not a big fan of the way Bellator has been doing their Grand Prix lately. They're just too dragged out. And that's why I would much rather see any of the 4 fighters I listed fight next for the title against Velasquez outside of a Grand Prix. Okay, so those are my thoughts on who should be next for the new champion in Bellator Flyweight, Juliana Velasquez. Let me know your thoughts on who of these 4 or anyone else could or should be next in the comments down below. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Go ahead, whatever. Anyway, while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.